What's up everybody, my name is Rob, and it is not 5 a.m. this time when we're doing an account review. This time we are doing one for Sancho. He is on Asia Pacific S3, I believe. Yeah, so he asked me to come do an account review on him. He messaged me on Facebook, and one of his big concerns was his layer team. He needed some help here, and then he also wanted me to look at some of his stuff for Vapor, and then as well as some of the just runes on his units in total for Thanatos. So let's open up here. He had most of the stuff in storage, so I went and pulled it out right before this just to kind of check. Okay, so we got a Hattori, runes on him. Oh, okay. Okay, so the main problem I'm seeing, at least on this Hattori, is you just really need to have like some kind of cohesive runes. I know you generally want to go for stats over sets, but especially in this case, you don't really appear to have a whole lot of either on your Hattori. Una just really needs to be fast enough. Your Windwalker. Oh boy, we're gonna have to check out that Windwalker. Yeah, so Una just needs to be fast enough. So really, whenever, because generally whenever you use an Una, you're using an Una for this skill, and you're pairing her with a Windwalker. That way you can have a speed team in your arena, and hopefully, you know, sit and farm a little bit and get some more stuff. So the speed of this Una should be fine until your Windwalker is somewhere around like 215, 220 speed. So just kind of in general, you really want to have your Elven Queen on speed, HP, just so that way, well, if you look, her HP skill is higher than her defense, her base defense anyway, because yeah, you don't have it sanctified. Her HP is generally higher than her defense anyway, so you're going to get more out of it using HP on her than defense. What's the speed? Okay, speed's fine. So I'm assuming you use this a lot more than you use your Windwalker. Kind of a good thing to go by is your Windwalker should really be like the fastest thing on your account, just for things like speed teams. Okay, good. So you got some team runes on your Archmage here. So we got speed, attack. Having speed on your Archmage isn't terrible, especially if you're using him like with intentions for RTA, where you're like, or not RTA yet, arena, where you're like needing him to freeze units and things like that. But in my opinion, I prefer to have him on attack, crit damage attack, or attack crit rate attack, depending on your rune quality. The fact you have him on full conflict is good. Arcanist isn't ruined, but we've got, okay, so we have attack, crit damage, attack. That's not fully ruined yet though, so I'm just gonna throw the Arcanist back in storage for a second. This is another acceptable build to a Druid. This is more like an in-game build. If you're using your Druid more in like dungeons and things like that, I would suggest having him on Agile or just straight team runes, just because he helps add a little bit more tankiness to your team, especially if you have him on like triple Unity or something. He'll add a little bit more tankiness to your team, and then you don't have to rely on these types of rune sets for kind of a while. Like this is kind of like I guess an arena Druid. I don't know what you consider it. This is more like an in-game build with Berserk and Druid. But that is a good build though, because it does decrease the cooldowns of both of his two skills. Oh, you don't have any skill ups in your Druid. Oh, yeah, definitely skill up your Druid. At least just these two, because these two are like his two most useful skills right here. This is something that I talked about in the last account kind of review and rerun that I did. The crit rate of your Holy Swordsman, even if you have to sacrifice, you know, a little bit of crit damage or a little bit of attack, the crit rate on your Holy Swordsman should be as close as you can get to 100 as possible. So for anybody who doesn't know, the Holy Swordsman is really good because of the combo between his first skill and his passive. This passive increases his crit damage by 10% and stack up to 10 times in total once he's fully skilled up. So he can potentially do an extra 100% crit damage as the fight drags on. Plus his first skill ignores defense, has a decent multiplier, and he has a 50% chance of double attack whenever he critical strikes. So whenever you have a crit rate that's this low, like this is at 39%, so you only have about a 20% chance in total that he's going to hit and then proc again. and that's just too small of a multiplier to actually kind of use him in a layer team, which is where he's used the most. This rune wouldn't be that terrible. I know it's not a team rune, I know it's not like a set for anything, but it really wouldn't be that bad because it's a crit rate rune and it has 20% attack on it. So for now, we're actually going to swap that over. Now if you see, his crit rate has all of a sudden gone up to 73%. So we didn't have any runes that rolled right, but we did have 2 runes that actually rolled double speed. So you could potentially use one of these runes like on your Una. Una is a really good place to throw team runes because you don't really need her for anything other than her 3rd skill. I'm sure someone's gonna get upset with me for saying that, but it's kind of true. Next, let's look at the Windwalker. So we have 4, 4, and 7. I'm sure we can improve that. This one has no speed. That one has no speed. This one's only a 5-star. Okay. Your Windwalker is one of the best heroes that you're going to have at your disposal. Just like pretty much throughout the entire game. You don't need your Una to be as fast as your Windwalker. You want your Windwalker to actually be about like 30% faster. Just because whenever you're taking her through arena, you need your, well, you don't need your Windwalker to go first, but it is nice. Plus it's easier to get her speed up there because her base is 111 and Una's is 10 lower at 101. Your best agile set will serve you a lot better on your Windwalker. Okay, I know you have this rune locked. I'm not gonna unlock it, but I would recommend you sell this. Like, none of the stats on this are really super redeemable, so just once you see this, just go ahead and sell that rune. The Golem, once again, doesn't have like a whole lot of cohesiveness to his runes. An okay like original build for your Golem for your first layer team is legitimately to just do 100% blessing runes on him, because the higher you can get his HP, the less damage your team is going to take. So he's just fine to just stack nothing but HP on, as long as you have somebody that's able to like throw immunity or something on him. The Golem should be runed fine. We have some okay beginner rolls for HP on these runes. That's really all the Golem needs. Fallen Angel. Okay, so the Fallen Angel is something that can kind of differ from person to person. Personally, with my Fallen Angel, the way I use him in my Leviathan team. I stack a ton of HP on him, make him super fast, have him on Agile, and just have him just do 1 cleanse and just nuke the boss. That's what I have my Fallen Angel for. You can do other things with him, but that's really what I use. So yeah, I use this same skill build, because this one does 4% of known max HP for each negative status effect. That's what I do. I feel like he had kind of the same idea. So we got speed, HP, attack. Okay, so this is something that I wouldn't recommend doing right now. I would recommend doing this for RTA, but the way I would do this is do speed, crit damage, or crit rate, whichever one. Speed, one of the crits, and then HP on this one. It's fine. I would just say swap this to an HP slot and then this one to crit damage or crit rate. I wouldn't recommend Berserk really on the Fallen Angel, really, because he doesn't have a whole lot of skills that require it. Like, especially if you're using this passive, really the only thing you'd be using Berserk for is this one, and that would just be to attempt to cleanse every single turn, which kind of the point of him is you get a whole bunch on your team, he cleanses off a lot, and then does a lot of single target damage at once. So if you're using him for just an AoE cleanser, I get it, but if you're using him for kind of more of the damage part of that, I would suggest putting him on Agile. For this Medusa, I would definitely recommend making her a lot faster, because you want to be making sure that all these people are constantly being slowed, having their energy drained, and petrifying the targets a lot. So you really want to have speed on that so that what's happening more. Berserk is fine, but switch this slot to speed. And then on this rune, I would recommend either switching it to hit, just to make sure that everything lands, or HP to make sure that she's a little bit tankier. And then this rune, I would just suggest HP. So you have your Medusa rune kind of more for a nuker. That's not really her point. Her point is really to lock up the enemy team and allow you to out turn cycle them and kind of shut down their offense for whatever they're doing. And if you're ruining her like a nuker, you're not really getting that benefit. The nuking should happen from someone else that you're including with the Medusa. Okay, so the first thing I'm seeing with your Bone King is you don't have him ruined like a layer nuker. So you have him ruined with a little bit too much speed. So like this rune that you have speed should really not be on him. I understand that you're having it for the crit damage, but you should really have this as an attack slot rune. The rest of these are fine. I would get a little bit more kind of cohesiveness to your runes, like potentially trying to get, what's the rune set called? Destruction. Trying to get destruction set on him. I know that you don't, you probably don't have the ability to reliably farm those right now, but after you farm layer for a little bit, attempt to switch this over to destruction and then switch this one over to an attack rune. With Ironheart, what I would say right here is this rune is fine. I like that you have him on 2 sets of team runes. Really, these 2 runes do not belong on an Ironheart. He's a defensive unit. Everything that he does scales up defense, and that is his highest stat. He has 1700 as opposed to 17,000 or 16,000 HP. So his defense is a lot higher, so you're kind of missing out on a lot by having HP runes on him and not these on a more reliable person. So what I would say is attempt to go like full unity on him with an okay amount of hit, because he has some taunts that you really want to land. Probably counter set, because what Ironheart's good at is he's good at locking one unit up out of the battle. So if you look at his skill, his first skill can go up to 100% taunt. So if you have a counter, someone's attacking him constantly and then he's countering that and hitting them back, whenever he counters, he's going to be locking up that one unit for the next turn, causing him to attack him, hopefully proccing a counter on him, locking that unit up again. So that's kind of what you should be doing with Ironheart, and he doesn't work as efficiently. He's a lot easier to kill if you have HP on him. This Flame Spirit, fine, but get rid of this HP rune. Put an attack slot here and attempt to get some more crit rate. Try to have crit rate kind of locked up before you go and start stacking on crit damage, because this is a good amount of crit damage, but this crit damage only matters whenever this actually crits. So right now it's at what, 54% chance, so just about half of the time it's going to be doing this damage, which is good, but half the time it's also going to be doing damage based off of just this stat. So just try to get the crit rate up there, and then that one will be fine. And yeah, get this HP rune off this thing. This one, get rid of this attack rune, replace it with either crit rate or crit damage, and get this speed rune out of here. You don't need a whole lot of speed on Flame Spirits. Just make them super attack and crit damage heavy, because they are just AoE ignore defense nukers. That's what they're good at. Succubus, first thing I'm seeing is you need to add a lot more hit on her. She's really good at sleeping like entire teams. She's good in arena. She's also good for like speed teams and dungeons, but you need hit on her in order for her to work. So I don't know what your slot 6 rune is, but I'm assuming it's going to be HP. Yeah, so get rid of this HP rune, throw a hit rune on there. She'll work a lot better. I like that she's on agile, but just kind of for the succubus, work on a little bit of rune quality. Just try to make her fast, give her a lot of hit, and then try to stack on some HP. That's pretty much it. Lich King. I'm assuming this is your farmer. Something that I will say about these runes, I see that you're plus 15ing slots 1 and 5 on the Lich King. You don't need to do this. I would honestly suggest keeping 1, 3, and 5 just at plus 12, unless they are the absolute perfect rune, like they're a quad roll of attack or HP or speed. Don't plus 15 these runes, just because it's kind of a waste. The amount that you get from them is it's incredibly low compared to what you would get from being able to plus 15 2 other runes on somebody else. Get more crit rate on them once again, especially for your farmer. So your farmer, before anything else, I would say to really have crit rate on slot 4, because you want your farmer to be consistent. You want to be consistent because if he misses one of these crits, I'm assuming he's not going to kill whoever he's trying to kill when he's farming. And if that happens, he's going to have to sit and attack again. And that's just kind of going to double the amount of time it takes you to actually farm things. So take this off, throw a crit rate rune on here, try to get it as close to 100 as you can, and then he'll work a lot more reliably. Okay, so this is kind of like the a bit like the arena build in a way. So you kind of have him split between two types of builds. The demonic swordsman has two builds. He has dungeon and then arena. A dungeon build is generally, you know, attack, crit rate, attack, or attack, crit damage, attack. He's supposed to go after your team, so that way your whole team goes. He fills up the attack bar, your whole team goes again, and you can out turn cycle the boss. Just pretty much like that. Then an arena build is generally like speed, crit rate, or crit damage, and then HP. You want him to be tankier, you want him to be able to kind of go first, fill up your team's attack bar, and then they all take turn one. That's kind of how you want your demonic swordsman for one of those. Berserk is fine in a dungeon build. It works better in a dungeon build. But for arena, I would really suggest having agile, because you're not going to get the speed on berserk that you really need to take turn one, but you can get that on agile. Other than that, it looks fine. His crit rate's over 100, so that's good. Okay, I'm assuming you're either just building your harpy right now, or you just 6-starred it because that's what you did. Definitely put this on speed, HP with an agile set. You want the harpy to be fast because it needs to be constantly healing your team. Mountain King should definitely be on attack, crit damage attack, or something like that. Just because the Mountain King has the potential to do an absolutely insane amount of damage with, where is it? This one. If you have a bunch of active buffs on your Mountain King and you have this on here, he can do an incredible amount of damage. You don't even have to pay attention to the stunning part. If you just put a bunch of buffs on him, he will do an insane amount of damage. So definitely have him built more as a nuker, unless you're going for him as a stunner, which based on that hit, don't think so. Now on the Athena, I appreciate that you have her on almost fully conflict, but what I will say with the Athena is you really need to make her really fast and really tanky, because you want her for, we want her for either this skill to hopefully just one turn nuke something. This is really good whenever you combo it with like a demonic swordsman, or you want one of these just kind of because they're nice ways to do some revives. So like, yeah, this one is the one I use, Dawn of Hope, because you get a 20% chance each turn to revive a fallen ally. So if you potentially have her on Berserk or Agile, she's going to be taking more turns, and she's going to be getting the full amount of turn cycling she needs to get these done. So yeah, definitely make her much faster than this, and she'll work much better. Once again, here's another Holy Swordsman. You really need to get his crit rate up before you start stacking on crit damage. Otherwise, you're not getting the full effects of the Holy Swordsman. If you have him on attack, crit damage, attack, I would suggest either trying to get some more crit rate in these subs. Ooh, that's actually a good Berserker. Yeah, definitely getting some more crit rate in these subs, like probably on these two runes, or just switching this to crit rate and going for crit damage in subs. Troll Lancer, 100% stack a ton of HP on him. I see that you're doing speed, HP. I don't know. I actually haven't built the Troll Lancer yet, so I'm not sure if he works better on speed or HP. If anybody knows that, please do me a favor and let me know down in the comments. But I do like that you are going for a lot of HP on him. Goblin Engineer. Once again, here's another, don't be plus 15ing these runes, because you're going to get towards endgame and you're not really going to have any use for these. Once again, you have them on crit damage, but you don't have them on enough crit rate to actually warrant having that crit damage on him. So once again, this is 32% of the time, so not even a third of the time he's going to be doing 121% extra damage. Only a third of the time though. The other 2/3 of the time he's just going to be going based off his attack. For his blast attack, it's fine, but you really want to be making sure that you're getting enough crit rate to actually warrant having this rune on there. I've been storing all the units that don't have runes just because I figured you're not really building them yet or anything like that. Abyss Lord. So you asked me to build a layer team for you. The Abyss Lord is one of the things that I use in my layer team. I combo him with a Yuki and have him on a desperation set. I'm on a desperation set because all of the things he does are AoEs, and then you have his passive, which is an AoE strip, which is incredibly good. So when you have him on desperation, no matter what, every single time he attacks something, he has a chance to stun it. So climbing, the spire, going through vapor, that's really necessary. Him and the monk. The monk both do pretty well at that. I just like him because he also, you know, has burns. He also has an AoE strip, things like that. And then Yuki. So I did message you about this. I appreciate that he's on conflict. Ooh, not resistance though. Ugh. I hate resistance runes. I know they have uses. I just don't like using them. But so Yuki, you asked me for help in Vapor. So what you really want on Yuki for Vapor is, I've seen two builds. They kind of work on the same principle, but personally I like using the Demonic Swordsman's passive to boost your team's attack gauge every time you hit a crit, and then Orc skill 2 because he attacks AoE like 3 or 4 times, and then the Monk skill 1 because it's one of only like 2 or 3 AoE first skills. Just having those 3 together is great. You can also throw Desperation on Yuki, also do some more stuns, works just fine. Yeah, so that's really what you should be doing with Yuki. Unfortunately, we aren't able to build you a lair team right now. What I would suggest I have a couple of things kind of in a list that you need to be working on. So in terms of Kalianite, what you need to be doing is coming here, trying to get 6-star runes in all of these slots, or well, really just on his slot 2, and maxing all of these out, all for HP. That's really the first thing you're going to do. It's going to help your team survive a lot better in lair. The second thing you should be doing is attempting to get skill ups as much as you can into the Druid. Now, I would suggest doing the skill ups into these 3 first, really just these 2 first. If you can try to max those out, you're going to increase the amount of defense on your team, a lot of the healing, and you're going to make the team kind of run a lot better. Then second thing you need to be trying to skill up is your Elven Queen. If you can skill up these 2 skills right here, and then for her runes, trying to get a 6-star agile rune on 4 that is for her HP, because her shields scale off her HP. If you can get that on her, she's going to work a lot better, as well as being able to provide a lot more immunity, a lot more invincibility, a lot more shields, attack bonuses, stuff like that. After that, I want you to try to boost the crit rate on your Holy Swordsman as well as your Bone King, especially your Bone King. I know that he does a lot of stuff that scales off his crit damage. That's fine, but you really need to make sure that you have high enough crit rate so that his skills actually do stuff. Like, I know he regains energy for crit damage, he ignores defense based on his amount of crit damage, just a lot of stuff like that, but if you don't have at least a little bit of crit rate, it's all being wasted. After that, I want you to take this Jungle Heart, I want you to put Swift Rune or Agile runes on this Jungle Heart, Speed, HP, or just whatever you think will make her the tankiest, and put her in the team with, what is it? This one. This is going to get rid of the disabling passives. She's also going to provide a little bit of immunity as well as some healing. She's a perfect hero to put in your original layer team. Next, for Vapor, what I would suggest you do is take the Yuki build that I sent you, which, in case you don't remember, it's the Demonic Swordsman passive that increases your team's attack bar, as well as the Orc second skill that does an AoE defense break, and this is actually the correct skill, the Monk Flame Pull. Do that for your Yuki, do Speed, HP probably, and probably like, actually this is not bad, I would just swap these runes and make Yuki a little bit tankier. For Vapor, you're gonna need a lot of tankiness. And then Abyss Lord, you're gonna wanna put Desperation Set on him, Speed, defense, try to get his hit decently high, because you're gonna want him to actually constantly be stunning, be burning, and actually be stripping with his third skill. Those 2 form a really good basis for all Vapor teams, especially Yuki. Yuki's used in pretty much every single one. And then you can combo that with like Elven Queen, Athena, Windwalker, a whole bunch of different ones. It just depends on the select one. Just a couple of tips for you outside of that. Kind of pay attention a little bit more to the main stats of runes. Like you see, I placed these 2 based on their main stats, especially for slots 2, 4, and 6. Because I noticed on a lot of heroes, what you're doing is, like how we had the Holy Swordsman originally runed, you had him runed with an HP on his slot 2 and then hit on his slot 6, the most you can get out of those slots is the main stat. And especially for like an attacker, you really need that to be an attack rune. For slot 4, you need crit damage or crit rate, especially, you know, for attackers. And then like some of these units, you need to be wary about like which ones you put speed on. Speed really only needs to be used in places where you need more turn cycling. If you just need them to hit hard and that's pretty much it, just go with attack on slot 2. Take some of your Elven Queen runes that are so fast and put them on your Windwalker. You get more out of them having them on your Windwalker, and your Windwalker is really used a lot more in arena offenses, like speed teams, things like that. So you're gonna get a lot more from her doing it there. I'm sorry that we weren't able to build you a lair team. I did try. Just kind of grind some more runes, some more Kalianite, do that for maybe a week or two, and then you should have all that you need to be able to do a lair team. And definitely build this Jungle Heart. The Jungle Heart is going to be one of the staples in your first lair team. She just makes runs so much easier to actually do. Sancho, thank you for messaging me. I hope that I helped in some kind of way. I hope I was able to kind of set you on a little bit more stable of a path. If you just kind of listen to a couple of tips that I gave you though, you should be able to beat lair in a week or two probably. And then you should be able to farm team runes, get faster, and have a speed team within a month. But thank you guys so much for watching. Just a reminder, if you want to be a part of my 500 subscriber giveaway, you need to be making sure that you are liking, commenting, and subscribing on my videos. And if you would like me to do an account Rerune, account takeover for you, just email me. My email is wreckitrob101@yahoo.com. Email me with your login info. Be ready to input a code on your phone, and I'll gladly take over your account for a day, rerun it, and kind of help you out a little bit. If you enjoyed this video, please do me a favor and wreck that like button down below, as well as the subscribe button. And if there are any tips that you have for Sancho, please do me a favor, toss those down in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Later.